Mr. President.
The senator from Iowa.
Mr. President, I rise today to urge each of my colleagues to support the pain-capable Unborn Child Protection Act. This critical legislation would prohibit a child from being aborted at 5 months of development. Now, for those that we have watching today, I'd just like you to focus a little bit on these photos. Focus on that photos, and I'll return to them here in a moment. Again, I'm urging my colleagues to support the Pain-Capable Unborn Child Protection Act. By any measure, at 5 months of development, an unborn child is a child. At 5 months, babies have grown nails on their fingers and on their toes. Hair has just begun to grow on their heads, and an ultrasound can tell an expectant mother or father whether their baby is a boy or a girl. These babies can detect light, hear sounds, they can swallow, and even experience taste as their taste buds grow and develop. These unborn babies, in all ways, are babies. There is also significant scientific evidence that at 5 months of development, these babies can feel pain. By 5 months, babies begin to respond to painful stimulus with distinctive pain response behaviors that are exhibited by older babies. They will scrunch their eyes, they'll clench their hands, they pull back their limbs in response to pain, just like any other child experiencing pain. There is also a great deal of evidence that stress hormone levels rise substantially when babies at this age are exposed to pain. In 2015, a Cambridge University Press medical textbook acknowledged that a, quote, fetus becomes capable of experiencing pain between 20 and 30 weeks of gestation, end quote. In fact, fetal surgeons routinely administer pain medications for babies after only 4 months of development. Those doctors are giving babies pain medication after 4 months of development. As modern medicine has recognized, these babies are humans capable of experiencing pain. Yet there is no federal law protecting these vulnerable humans from abortions. As a result, every year in our country, the lives of thousands of babies end painfully through abortion. This is unacceptable. The majority of men and women across the nation agree with this premise. According to a recent Marist poll, 6 out of 10 Americans surveyed support a law prohibiting abortion after 5 months of pregnancy. Additionally, multiple states, including my home state of Iowa, have passed legislation that would prohibit abortions after 5 months of development. That is because these babies are babies. There is no way to deny the humanity of these children when you consider stories like that of Micah Pickering. Now, Micah is from Newton, Iowa. He's a very young friend of mine. He's 5 years old. Just a few weeks ago on the floor of the Senate, I was able to share Micah's story. As you may recall, Micah was born at just 20 weeks post-fertilization, the very point at which the pain-capable Unborn Child Protection Act would begin to protect these young lives. Today, Micah is a very happy, very energetic little 5-year-old. And now I'd like to go back to these pictures. When I first met Micah, he was about 3 years old. And he was out to visit my office, he and his parents, for the annual March for Life. And I had this poster made of these pictures, and they were in my office because I was going to speak on the Senate floor in support of March for Life. And Micah, who is pictured here on the right side of the poster board, Micah, a happy, energetic little boy, he saw this poster board in my office, and he ran up to it. Imagine this beautiful 3-year-old boy. And he ran up to this picture, and he pointed not at the picture of himself, as he was at 3 years old, but he pointed to this picture, and he said, "Baby." And I said, "Yes, Micah, that's a baby." This is Micah when he was born. Micah, at 3 years old, understood that this was a baby. He didn't understand that that was him when he was born, but he understood that that was a baby. And if you look at the picture, you will see Micah is grasping his mama and daddy's hands with 5 perfectly formed little fingers on each hand. It's a baby, folks. Micah knew that. While he might not have known that was him when he was born, he knew that that was a baby. 5 months, 5 months gestation. So today again, Micah is a happy, extraordinarily healthy young boy. And I got to see him again this last year. And again, he was running around my office just full of energy and life. Yes, Micah, this is a baby. I agree. Micah's story is not an isolated incident. Extraordinary stories of babies that are surviving just after 5 months of development can be found all around the world. A little over a year ago, Dakota Harris was born in Ohio at 19 weeks of development, even younger than Micah. Last May, she left the hospital with her family as a healthy 7-pound baby. In 2016, baby Aaron was born at 20 weeks of development, becoming the youngest premature baby to survive in Israel. After 5 months of care at a hospital in Tel Aviv, he was able to go home again as a healthy baby. In 2010, Frieda Mangold, who was born in Germany at just under 20 weeks of development, became Europe's youngest premature baby to survive. After receiving intensive care, she too was able to go home with her family as a happy 7-pound baby. Babies have been on record surviving birth after just 5 months of development for 3 decades now. 3 decades. What greater evidence do you need that at 5 months development, an unborn child in every way is a child? Despite the clear evidence of the humanity of these children, the U.S. is one of only 7 countries in the world to allow abortions after 5 months of development. That means that while an overwhelming majority of the world recognizes and protects the humanity of these vulnerable children, the United States keeps the company of countries like China and North Korea. They deny unborn children the most basic of protections. This, folks, is not who we are as a nation. It is time we listen to the scientific evidence, the men and women across America and a majority of the rest of the world. There should be no disagreement when it comes to protecting the life of an unborn child that can feel pain. And as the inspiring stories of Micah Pickering and others show, they survive outside of the womb. It is up to us to ensure these children have the chance to grow up and lead the happy, healthy lives that God has granted them. As a mother and a grandmother, I am urging my colleagues to support the pain-capable Unborn Child Protection Act, which recognizes these unborn babies as the children they are and provides them the same protection from pain and suffering that all of our children deserve. And for my dear little friend Micah, I'd say, yes, Micah, this is a baby, and we're glad to have you here. God bless him. Thank you, Mr. President. I yield the floor and would note the absence of a quorum.